I've started to notice some unusual changes in humanity, and the way that it seems to manifest is as a subtle fear. It's subtle, but it's definable. Like right now, it's 2:22 p.m. You can hear the sound of construction. You can understand when I say I definitely didn't come here to experience this all day long, kind of like the last time I was here and I was experiencing the plane flying back and forth all day long. I've got to tell you, my anxiety level is measurable, and it's measurable to the point where, well, you've seen the numbers, you know? If I didn't show it at the beginning of this clip, I'm going to show it right now. Did you hear that guy yelling? So it may sound like I'm stumbling through a story, but the story I want to tell is a story of friendship. I've made many friends throughout time, and almost every one of my friends is into nature. And that is such a connecting point that I know that in general, I'm friends with everybody, you know? Even the craziest people love something about nature. As time has gone by, and as I've done my best to emphasize that there has to be a place of peace for someone to really release the stress, you know, or disconnect from the stress long enough to for someone to have a measurable sense of healing. I just recently got back from this same place where I was greeted at my tent by a bear. And that experience it was as if I already knew how to have this conversation. To not be panicked, first of all, was essential. Panic and stress register almost the same way in the human body. And my stress comes from some strange, ongoing scenarios. The only thing I would like to do is to point out an observation that we all know we contributed to. The next thing is, how do we treat one another? It's not very difficult to see the impact of health on wealth around us. And I don't mean monetarily. I mean health as wealth around us. It's very interesting to recognize how health can be transmitted between possibly one another. So be extra careful out there. Everybody pay attention to the signs. You can have a communication with the native species bear, and you can definitely end the conversation peacefully if only we can learn to not panic and respect one another enough to say, hey, maybe I'm not the expert in this particular field of conversation, but I know this cat up the road who talks about this all the time. And then that cat up the road might understand it's not all about all the different things we're trying to sell. That hungry bear that came to my tent told me, in not so many words, I was competing in its territory for food and it did not want me around. That was its place. And it was a mother bear after we all reviewed the footage, right? You've seen the video, I'm sure. It was a soon-to-be mama bear, looking for whatever she could eat as this season comes to a close. That hungry bear is the second hungry bear that I encountered this year alone in this park. Okay, I can still see the bear. It's crossing the road. That was a surprise. Basically what happened was I got to right about here in this brushy area. And apparently the bear was there. I wonder if it was setting up to ambush me. Whatever happened, it had to be keenly aware I was there, and then it just snorted and took off running. And I'm not a resident, but I am a fan of this park and what it has done for me. Hopefully we'll be surprised whenever I share the next clip. Right now I'm pretty much just going to focus on taking care of my health the way that I know makes me feel better. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.
Come on, one more. Hey. Yeah, up more. That's it. Whoa, whoa, whoa.